In 2007, I was 10 years old and sat down to watch a movie that I was deeply excited for called Transformers. Heard of it? Before the movie began, a trailer played that blew my mind. The first thing I noticed was that the trailer was filmed as if someone within the movie itself was holding the camera, which was immediately a new concept to me. The trailer featured a party with completely good vibes until the lights go out and the partygoers go outside to find New York buildings exploding. You can distinctly hear a monstrous roar throughout the trailer. The trailer ends with the Statue of Liberty's head landing right in front of the character filming, and the teaser ends with only the release date of the movie, not even giving the audience a name. What's good, internet? Jake here, dumb as ever, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about one of my all-time favorite movies, and the only toy that was ever made for it. Now, this video is primarily about the toy, but I did want to talk about the movie from my perspective, because it's something I was obsessed with when I was a kid, and in a way, that's kind of what this channel is about. If you've never seen one of my videos before, I hope you like this, and if you're a Transformers fan, I encourage you to check out my Transformers playlist for more interesting toy videos. Also, please consider liking and subscribing to help me with the master of YouTube success, algorithm. 2008 was a fantastically interesting year for movies, because while it produced many movies that were critically panned like The Love Guru and 10,000 BC, it was also a year that started huge franchises like the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man or the Kung Fu-niverse with Kung Fu Panda. Don't look that last one up, just trust me. Another franchise establishing movie that came out in 2008 was Cloverfield, a found footage movie about a monster attacking New York. Cloverfield was dreamed up by JJ Abrams while visiting Japan, where he saw how much Godzilla was revered and all the merch they sold for him. JJ aspired to create an American Godzilla, and in a lot of ways, I think Cloverfield accomplishes just that. Godzilla was a movie built on fear of nuclear annihilation in the wake of the atomic bombings during World War II, as well as the hydrogen bomb testings done by the United States. As an American, the only thing I can think about during the opening sections of the film is 9/11. The destruction of New York is incredibly conveyed by the special effects, and the found footage aspect of the film adds so much raw fear to what you're seeing. The movie effectively puts you at ground zero. We follow a group of people navigating through the city so this guy named Rob can get to his girlfriend Beth. Rob is joined by Jason, Lily, Marlena, and Hud. Hud is played by TJ Miller, who has an interesting history. Remember that time he got blown up in a Transformers movie? TJ Miller gets justifiably a lot of shit, but I actually think this is one of his best movie roles, despite essentially being a voice actor.
How are you gonna survive without Rob? He's like your main dude.
Yeah, no. Hey, how am I gonna survive without you?
I don't know, I'm like your main dude.
Hud ends up with a camera to do video testimonials for Rob's going away party, and is the one filming for 95% of the movie. The way they accomplish this is kind of wild, because for a lot of the scenes, they actually had TJ Miller filming the scene.
The entire film is shot from the perspective of me shooting, which was interesting for me to find out as a comedian, an actor, because I've never done camera work, really.
Though of course most of the movie is shot by professionals. In universe, Hud is not a cameraman or anything, he's just a guy that was handed a video camera, but he is such a good cinematographer. This scene, for example, is beautifully shot and gives us one of our best looks at the monster. If I was the one with the camera, it would look like this. Let's talk about the monster. The Cloverfield monster, nicknamed Clover, is one of my favorite kaiju. Clover looks like a gigantic hairless bat with long limbs and giant black Funko Pop eyes. For most of the movie, we only see glimpses of it. Its strange design has been copied by a bunch of other movie monsters. The Quiet Place aliens come to mind. And Transformers Dark of the Moon had a background character named Devcon, whose appearance seems to be inspired by the monster as a reference to the first Cloverfield teaser being released with Transformers. Barely seeing the monster makes the moments where we do encounter it face to face 100 times more shocking and terrifying, because you simply get used to not seeing him, and there's only one instance where the monster actively goes after a human target that isn't attacking him. That human target, of course, being Hud. The scene where Hud comes face to face with the monster is so iconic. I love how Clover seems to study him before attacking and killing Hud. Fun fact, it's a bit hard to tell, but Clover actually chomps HUD in half. Apparently this scene was a last minute idea, and I feel like the creature attacking HUD is a bit out of character, but it's such a cool scene that I simply cannot make myself care.
The 11th hour after everything was done, JJ had the idea of actually seeing the monster, really seeing the monster up close in a short amount of time from scratch. We had not planned for it, we had shot nothing for it, no elements for it, and they made the shot. Suddenly, you really got to see the monster in a way that you rarely get to see a monster.
And the monster eats me, and I die, you know? And then we eat hamburgers.
HUD is killed while doing the same thing he does the entire movie, documenting the monster. It feels like a satisfying character arc to me, and I always get a little bit sad when HUD is killed. Second fun fact, I used to work at a movie theater, and one week TJ Miller came in for like 2 or 3 days in a row to chill at our bar. I was way too nervous to approach him, and my managers didn't really want us to bother him anyway, but it's kinda crazy he was just there randomly. Another scene I think about all the time is the scene where Clover destroys the bridge our characters are trying to cross and kills Rob's brother. I don't know, there's something just incredibly tragic about it to me. His brother just looks up and sees Clover's tail about to slam down and just disappears. This brings me back to the 9/11 metaphor of the movie. Things feel safe and under control until they aren't, and it just takes a single destructive force to do that. The military does all it can to kill the monster, but they can't. Bullets and bombs don't work on it. It simply crushes everything in its way. In my mind, subtextually, Clover represents the actual terror part of terrorism. Sure, the military can go overseas and kill the people responsible, but does that really make you feel any safer? If those guys could do such a terrible thing, doesn't that mean anyone can? Just like the military in this movie that can't destroy the monster, the real life military can't shoot the fear and helplessness that Americans felt after 9/11. And because of these facts, I really do feel like JJ accomplished his goal of making an American Godzilla, though there is one big issue here. There is absolutely no Cloverfield merch. The whole reason JJ was inspired in the first place is because Godzilla is an iconic monster that had a bunch of merch in Japan. Like, taking something successful and milking the hell out of it is America's whole thing. Where's my damn milk, JJ? We don't even have a Clover Funko Pop, for Christ's sake. And he's like an ideal candidate. The only toy Cloverfield ever got was actually released the same year as the movie. The movie came out in January and was a smash success, prompting Hasbro to throw up a pre-order for a Cloverfield monster toy in the same month. Now, this was 2008, so pre-ordering a toy definitely wasn't as standardized as it is now, so this was pretty interesting. I also can't really tell if Hasbro had pictures available of the figure. An article from Toy News International announcing the toy pre-orders doesn't include any photos, but does include key details like the swappable heads and Parasite minifigures. I find it hard to believe they would sell a figure with no photos, but I was unable to find an image of Hasbro's pre-order page through the Wayback Machine. The closest I got was this page that lists Cloverfield with the rest of their brands. We know for sure that Hasbro showed off the toy at the 2008 Toy Fair in February, so that may be the first time the public saw the toy. Just 11 months later in December, the Hasbro Signature Series Cloverfield monster would be released. I have to say that's a pretty quick turnaround, especially for a toy that turned out as amazing as this. The Signature Series Clover comes in this massive box featuring the poster, stills from the movie, and signatures from JJ Abrams and Matt Reeves. I know, somehow I haven't mentioned Matt Reeves, who directed Cloverfield, this whole time. Truth be told, until my most recent rewatch yesterday, I always thought JJ Abrams directed the movie because his name is so attached to it. But it turns out this is a bit of a Tim Burton / Henry Selick situation where JJ Abrams gets a lot of the credit, but Matt Reeves is the director and it's his vision in the movie. Of course, Matt Reeves would go on to direct 2 incredible Planet of the Apes films, as well as The Batman, which is probably the best received DC film in a decade. Anyway, the box is absolutely massive, and upon first opening it, you're greeted by Clover trapped in some egg cartons like Han Solo frozen in carbonite. The box itself functions as a large diorama with burning skyscrapers, kind of like a good version of those backgrounds they include with the Studio Series Transformers. Once you pry it out, you're greeted by a massive Clover Cloverfield monster toy, standing at 14 inches. This thing is truly a collector's item. The sculpt is absolutely beautiful, and I have to wonder if it's based directly on the model of the monster. The toy is completely articulated as well. Clover even has finger joints and double jointed knees. I don't really know how much I can glaze this figure. It just looks so amazing and screen accurate. It comes with two different heads, the first being the agitated head, which is how we often see the monster, roaring with the air sacs on its head inflated. It also comes with a calm head, which is super interesting because we only really see this face clearly in HUD's death scene. I have to say the docile head is absolutely adorable. I don't care how much destruction this man causes. The second he hits the puppy head tilt with this head, I'm saying, "Aw, such a good boy." The docile head can also store a tiny Statue of Liberty head and 10 of the included parasites. The parasites are a fun addition to the movie. They're like ticks that feed on the monster but jump off of Clover to terrorize humans. A bite from a parasite can be deadly, basically causing your blood to explode out of your body. The sequence where the main characters encounter these creatures is one of the best in the movie and gives me survival horror game vibes. I will say the scene also has the worst CGI in the whole movie. They smartly set the scene in a dark subway tunnel, but some of the scenes with the parasites just look rough. What's worse is that in the behind the scenes, we find out that a puppet was constructed to use in these scenes, but during the filming the crew wasn't vibing with it and they just went with the CGI route. That's pretty lame in my opinion. I feel like they could have used the puppet and the effects would have looked much better.
Ow! Ow! You don't have to. No, hold on. You don't hit it. You don't hit it. You hit above it. You hit just above it.
Okay, let's do it again.
Because they'll green screen it.
Okay, one more time.
Anyway, it's fun that they included the parasites, and you can decorate your box diorama with them. The tail also has a bendy wire, which every toy collector knows is awesome for posability, and is a rarely seen feature for toys. The toy also has a sound feature. Pressing a button on its back will activate the creature's iconic roar. This toy, simply put, is a masterpiece, and the fact that the only official Cloverfield toy we've ever gotten is this amazing is pretty crazy. Oh, also, at the time, this only cost $100, which is so funny because an inflation calculator claims the price would only go up by $45 with current day inflation. But I think all of us that have been dealing with Hasbro's prices for the last few years know something like this would be at least a $300 HasLab with the alternate head and parasites as stretch goals. Now, is it really fair to just imagine Hasbro being greedy? No, not really. But that's where I'm at with the company at the moment. This toy is amazing, and unfortunately to my knowledge, Hasbro never sold it again, making it a one-of-a-kind collector's item that is almost 20 years old now. The aftermarket prices greatly reflect this rarity, with the most complete figures selling for over $1,000, and even just pieces of the creature are sold for hundreds. Obviously, this is a super rare piece at this point, so I don't blame these sellers at all. It's not like they're scalping the figures. The only alternative I could find is this custom 3D model by artist Dope Pope that he sold as 3D prints for the 15th anniversary of the movie. This is a fantastic version of Clover that appears even more accurate than the Hasbro version, but it is a bit of a statue and reminds me more of the movie Monster series from Bandai. I have no clue if Dope Pope still sells these, but this is literally the only other Cloverfield toy I could find, and it's not even official. I have no idea why Paramount is so adverse to Cloverfield merch, but God, please, someone let them know that the fans are dying for a new figure. I would legit be happy with anything, even a Funko Pop, man. That's where I'm at. There were Cloverfield sequels, but they're extremely unconnected, though it was nice to see a Cloverfield monster at the end of Paradox, even if it felt totally shoehorned in. Cloverfield is one of my favorite movies, and it's one I can rewatch fairly often, even though I don't like to rewatch many movies. Thanks for watching my video. Please like and subscribe for more toy content, and let me know what you think of Cloverfield. I would love to read some comments from people who love to gush over the film as much as I do. Alright, I'm almost out of tape and have like 3 seconds left. I'll see y'all in the next one. Ciao.